Mhm. Okay, are we in there? Okie dokie. Meld. Just a sec. Yeah, you should be right there. Oop. What's happening? Okay, very nice. So we are. Why am I getting a commercial? It should be
Hey,
no.
I think I tapped the wrong button, dude. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay,
I didn't know if I clicked off.
join the. I just gotta make sure you're. Oh, did you come off of the Discord? Yeah, you came off the
Wow.
Discord.
Yeah. Somebody was calling me a second ago, and the call ended. But then I looked; it looked like I was actually on the call with him, but I think it was the Discord thing, and I hit the end button.
Okay,
My bad.
it's all
We're
good.
live though, so
Okay, and then this. Well, I can see all that. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear you, but I don't want to hear this. Okay.
Marty89 I just followed.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I have the chat up. Okay, I have the chat. Live chat. It's hard to see, but yeah, are you able to put your video back?
oh yeah, sorry, I didn't realize
Oh,
I had
no
message.
problem. Okay, we are live now.
Awesome.
Okay. So, um, the nice thing about these things is that we meet people from all over the place that I don't know, and now we get to know each other live in person. And so, what is your name? And tell us about yourself.
My name is Wyman Gentry. I have a real estate media company. Well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on, Matt. I appreciate the invite, and I'm excited to be on with you. So yeah, I have a real estate media company, and I've been doing that for I want to say since maybe the middle of 2019. So for coming up on 7 years now. And I did some photography before that. I was trying to sort of find my way. I did portrait photography. I tried kind of everything, food photography, different kinds of genres of photography, and I couldn't find anything where I could actually make any money at it. And real estate, once I sort of fell into it by some friends and seeing some things online, and it just sort of came together. 2019, I kind of dabbled a little bit, and then it really started taking off. It actually started taking off during COVID, believe it or not. So, which was a blessing for me.
Nice. So before doing real estate, because in your real estate you do have some drones, like DJI drones. Have you dabbled at
Yes,
all in FPV?
I have not. No, I've been wanting. It's been on my radar, but I haven't been. It hasn't been requested enough where I've felt like a sense of urgency on picking one up. But I'm definitely curious about FPV drones, and I do plan on making an investment at some point and making that a part of what I do, because it's freaking awesome, and I love the way they look and how they shoot. So I'm definitely game to learn more about FPV and get into it.
So you plan a trip, you come here, I'll teach you in a day.
Nice, I love it. I love it. What do
Yeah,
you think about the like Avata, the DJI like Avata drones?
I'm very different in the like I love film photography and all that stuff, but for me the whole point of FPV is like flying, like Top Gun. Like just remember watching Top Gun and seeing Tom Cruise like in the jet plane, and just that whole idea of
Yeah,
being able to fly with
yeah.
that's what FPV allows you to have. So when it
Mhm.
comes to, for instance, like the drones that you'll fly, I say it's kind of like you're operating a robot because it
Mhm.
stays steady. You can kind of just
Right,
let it sit there, do your thing, figure it out.
right.
Whereas with FPV, you're inside it. and you're fully in manual control. Like the Avadas and stuff, they're cool because they're very beginner friendly. So you could pick one up and start being able to kind of do kind of like a crossbreed, but
Mhm.
nothing really compares to actually like it's like being in an airplane. The way that you fly it, it's fully manual. So it allows you
Mhm.
to flip upside down and catch yourself and balance yourself. So it's a whole different world. But what I found really interesting, like what caught my eye with you, was the way that you work your camera and stuff. You actually make your real estate shots look like drone shots, and I was wondering, like, if you're are you trying to do that? Are you even thinking about that, or you're just kind of getting these smooth shots?
I'm not necessarily thinking about I'm not really making that correlation when I'm shooting that like I want to make it look like a drone shot. I am just trying to get the smoothest shots possible. So I am using a camera and a gimbal. And also I do like to shoot at like a higher frame rate. So either 60 or 120 frames a second, and then slowing it down in post. That combined with a gimbal helps you get nice, smooth shots. And that's what in my line of work, real estate, that's what people want to see. They want to see nice, smooth shots because if there's a lot of motion, like back and forth or jitter, it sort of like takes away from the whole vibe of the walkthrough. You know.
Yeah, and you've come up with a system too where it's like wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You know, like I
Mhm.
really appreciate that too, because so many people, we fiddle around trying to figure out the right way to do things. And you got to check out what's your name again?
Wyman.
Wyman. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta check out Wyman. I'm so bad with names. I'm the worst. I'm a hairdresser, and like sometimes I'll have to look at their credit card and be like, "Oh, Jennifer, yes, very good." but
No,
but
it's all good, man.
yeah, you got to check out Wyman's videos because he has great educational videos showing people kind of like how he gets the shots, how he plans them out, and that way you end up saving a lot of time. How long did it take for you to kind of come up with this system?
It probably, I don't know. It's just it's sort of developed. It kind of morphs over time, but I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing it for about 7 years, and I would say probably within a couple of years, I got a system dialed in that I felt really comfortable with. It's sort of a template, and now I have other people that shoot with me as well, and I train them, and basically we just have like a shot list that we run through to make sure that we're capturing a house in a way that makes the viewer feel like they're getting a full idea of what the house looks like. And then we'll venture outside of that too. You know, we'll get creative shots where we're angled up in weird ways and things like that. And we'll just, explore and experiment and try to get things that look cool. But always starting with that template, you know what I mean? And then building from there.
Yeah, we'll do a trade off. So you'll come here. I'll teach you FPV. I have a buddy in real estate, so I have
Oh,
access.
nice.
I have access to like whatever all the time, so it's pretty cool. So we can just
Yeah.
go and shoot some $1 million houses because they're all bloody that much in Toronto, anyways.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm down for that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and then so when you switched to doing real estate, and like, how long did it take for it to go from like what were you doing before? How did you switch over? How did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I was trying to do portraits. I tried to do product photography. When I was going to school for photography, one there did food photography for his career before he was a teacher. And that guy was making, so he says, a grip of money in that he actually had like a contract with one of the main local, or not local, but national grocery store chains. And he shot for them specifically for like 20 years. And he was like their main photographer. He made a lot of money. I thought I was gonna go do that, but it was a lot harder than I thought to get, to sort of break down the door of that industry. And so just over time, it was kind of, I just kind of fell into it. I had a family friend who's a realtor, and she asked me, I guess her regular photographer wasn't available one time. So she asked me to do a shoot. I had no idea what I was doing. I just went on YouTube and tried to learn some things and quickly, to try to accommodate. I did that shoot. And then I had another family friend who had a property that needed to be shot. So I learned a little bit more on that one. And then the first person had a brokerage right when COVID hit. I had a good rapport with that agent. So she talked to her manager about me. And when COVID hit, they were trying to scramble to figure out what they could do because you couldn't have people come into houses and look at them. So they wanted to come up with some sort of package, that they could offer for potential buyers to see properties since they couldn't go there. And they felt that video was a big part of that. So they hit me up and I came up with a package price specifically for them. And it was kind of off and running from there. I ended up getting probably about 20 clients out of that ended up being regular clients. So that's really where it started for me. I did some in 2019, but it really took off in 2020.
Okay, so if you were, let's say, just starting now and you had your cameras, maybe some drones, you're an FPV pilot and you want to start taking videos of real estate, who would you reach out to? Would you reach out to agents? Would you reach out to the like Remax and stuff? To tell us how, if you had to go from scratch, how would you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So what I would do specifically is I would use my Instagram account. If you have an Instagram account, or I'm assuming most people do, use your sphere of influence, right? Like the friends that you already have on there, start searching up, letting them know that you do that. I would find a property that's nice to shoot, whether it's your own, clean it up, make it look presentable. Ask your friends, get some shots in that you can use as a portfolio. You'll find someone that'll let you shoot their property if you're persistent about it. Get some portfolio shots and then start posting that stuff on your own Instagram to show people that you kind of announce it, right, to the world that you're actually doing this. And then start finding agents and stalking them, basically. I mean, not like in a bad way, but like, engaging with them on Instagram, uh, commenting on their posts and things like that. And then once you have a little bit of rapport, then you can start DMing them on Instagram, right? Like not like in a way that's like super salesy, but you just, like a normal person would do. Like you hit them up in the comments and then hit them up in the DMs. Another way you can do it too is by actually just going on to Zillow and finding agents there that have maybe my criteria when I was starting out and trying to find agents was that I would find an agent on Zillow that had 10 closed listings in the previous year. And I would find their listings that they were active on, and I would call them and I would just have a conversation. Hey, I'm new. I saw this listing that you had. It looks amazing. I actually would like to see about if you'd be willing to work with me, and I would like to offer you a free shoot. And so I did that a lot with clients. I would offer them a free shoot as a way for them to get to know me and see my work and see if it's something that we might be a good fit for in the future. You can get pretty far by doing that.
So you'd go after the agents. You wouldn't go after like the people that all the agents work for.
I would go specifically to agents starting out. Yes.
And there's a lot more
You can.
agents, so
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I would say too is that you can go after new agents, but realtors in that gets started in real estate as a realtor, the turnover is crazy. It's like 80 to 90% quit after year one. So when I say, look for agents on Zillow that have 10 closed listings in the last year, those are the ones that are going to be people that have a better likelihood of being better clients and a longer lasting relationship. You know what I mean? If you go on Zillow and you see someone that has like 2 transactions and they have 0 transactions in the last year, chances are if you do a free one for that person, it's probably not going to lead to anything down the road, most likely.
yeah, and I guess you could also just look for the people actually posting advertisements of themselves, because those one obviously have a bit more money to be doing that, right? Because the small
Right.
guys aren't really posting their face on the back of buses or anything.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if someone has some money behind their advertising like that, that's someone who takes their business as a realtor seriously, and that's definitely a target to reach out to for sure.
Okay, and then rates, like starting to like take us through your journey of that, like how you went from free, then what you started charging, what was it just offered to you, or did you start asking for it, or take us through the whole monetization journey of from free to, your first gig to what you can charge for now according to
Mhm.
all the details you want to give.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I really do when I reach out to someone and I tell them the first one's going to be free. I try to set the expectation that this is a one-time thing that I'm offering them to get to see my level of work and my quality. And then once they do that, I follow up with them. Hey, how did you like the photos? Did everything turn out great? And then I will hit them up maybe a month later just to check in and see how everything's going, see if they have anything coming up. And then I think when you set that expectation from the get go, then they kind of know that the next one's not going to be free. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then as far as pricing is concerned, what I do or what I did when I was first starting out is I'll look at my local competitors. One good thing about the real estate market from a photographer standpoint is that most of the people who are doing this kind of work post their rates on their website. So that makes it very easy for you to make a determination for what you might want to charge. So you have to do your due diligence and look at other photographers in your local area and see what they're charging, see the kind of work that they have on display on their website, and then gauge yourself accordingly. You know what I mean? If they're shooting like these luxury homes and you're just getting started, you don't have anything in your portfolio like that, and they charge a certain rate, you you have to be cautious that you're not just matching that rate. You have to take a bigger picture look at multiple competitors to see what everybody's charging, looking at their level of work and stuff like that, and then go somewhere around what they're charging. Take the median
Okay.
and start from there. And once your work gets better, then you can start raising your price up a little bit more. The only thing I would caution people to do is not to go too low when you're just getting started, because if you do that, it makes it sort of sets the standard.
Yeah.
And when you start raising rates, it can be more challenging to do that and without getting pushback.
Yeah, I always say charge as much as you can get away with. Because people
100%.
are
Yeah, for
scared.
sure.
Yeah, lots of people are
Yeah.
scared, but I don't know if you've had experience with this where sometimes the people that pay you the least expect the most from you. And then
Of
sometimes the
course.
people that you take the most money from, they're just like, yeah, you're a professional, do your thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's that fear that we have. It's usually like the literal opposite of what that fear is. You know what I mean? And those clients that are willing to pay more money are, that's one, they'll pay more money, but then they'll also hire you more often and they'll treat you better. And it's just like everything is better on that end of things rather than trying to be the lowest to try to attract clients, because you're exactly right that you're going to get the clients that they're going to be picky about everything. They're just going to be a nightmare. I don't want to like start talking too much trash on some realtors, but you said it all. That they can be, those types of clients can be very challenging. So yeah.
Yeah, one of my first FPV gig, actually, it was crazy because it was for a competition for a Chrysler EV. Like they are making videos doing little competition things. And here I am excited, I'm going to go film. They want an FPV video of their car, right? But the guy basically wanted me to film his whole skit and edit it. And I did it all.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't be a picky brat, but I'm like, oh, 100. Like, he gave me $100, and it's just like
Right.
he could have done a lot better. And literally, it ended up me being like 3 seconds of FPV flying around a car, and then like
Yeah.
3 minutes of them talking and the skit and whatever. And he ended up bloody winning the thing. So that was nice. But
Oh, no way.
it was just annoying that it was like, I
Yeah.
the FPV footage looked good, but the skit part didn't maybe look the greatest. But it was just
Uh-huh.
annoying. That's like, but he was just such a pain in the butt. And it
So do
was
you feel like,
for $100.
did he pull you? So you didn't know that going into it?
Oh, it
So but
was a really funny story because it was basically, I don't know if you have any of those friends that are like delinquents, like they're your buddy, but they're just a little bit of a mess. So
oh yeah.
so yeah, one of my kind of like gangster buddies hanging out in a bar talked to some dude. They were both drinking, and he's like, "Yo, man, I got a job for you." So it's just like, okay, whatever. I don't care. I did it. And it was just, but then when you agree to something and then you roll up and you see people in like fancy suits and all and it was like, oh man, they got me. But at the same time,
Right.
You get paid to do
Right. Right.
anything. Be happy
Yeah.
sometimes, right? But it is funny how same thing, kind of like as a hairdresser. Lots of people come out of hairdressing school and they want to work somewhere and charge $20 a haircut. I'm like, do you know how much you get tipped when you charge $20 a haircut? You get tipped like $2.
Right.
And
Right.
I charge $80 a haircut. So most of the time I get tipped like 10 to $20.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd always much rather start higher, because also I bumped my prices after a long time from 60 to 80 and no one said anything. Whereas you
Right.
bump your prices from 20 to 30 and everyone will be mad at you,
Right.
right? So
Right. Right. Right.
I've seen firsthand. Also, same thing with fashion. Fashion's ridiculous because, like in the States, they have makeup artists and hairdressers, and it's separate.
Mhm.
Whereas in Canada, it's like together. So you get all these people,
Oh, interesting.
makeup artists that kind of do hair, hairdressers that kind of do makeup. And whenever there's big events like Miss Canada, Miss Universe, most people will
Mhm.
actually volunteer. So you actually can't get hired to do Miss Canada or Miss Universe because everyone's kind of fighting over who gets to do it for free. So I did
Mm.
that
Okay.
like back in the day. Like I did a lot of those like big prestigious shows, and it was like, wow, good for me. Like I did L'Oreal Fashion Week and they paid me $250 a day to do like
Yeah.
10 fashion shows, and you're scrambling backstage working all day like a dog, whereas you could just dye someone's hair blonde and make the same amount of money.
Mhm.
So
Do you feel like doing those events though gained you some credibility, like in your industry?
bragging rights, like that's
Mm.
to me all the accomplishments you can get. Like let's say even as a photographer you won some sort of award, it doesn't mean anything. You can post it, hey look, I'm an award-winning photographer, but if you didn't
Yes.
share that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
no one gives a crap. And
Yeah.
like you said, that guy that you met that made good money doing product photography, often it doesn't matter even how well you're trained. Like, yeah, there's talent, and talent is important, but a more important talent is being able to just kind of believe that you can get any job and then just go get it.
Right.
Right. Just
Right.
because so one of the things that I've done before is, instead of reaching out to all the companies, when are all these companies going to be together? So you have probably a real estate, one of those corporate events where they all gather together in a building. So for
Mhm.
you to go to one of those events, and before that event, message all the companies that are going to be there on Instagram. Hey, you know what? I noticed you're going to be there. I'll be there too. I just wanted to come by and say hello.
Mhm.
And then you meet the person you were talking to and you make all those contacts. That is so much more valuable. And like, talk about like killing
100%.
100
100%.
birds with one stone. So
Yeah.
the auto show comes, and then when the auto show came, I messaged like 50 people and I got to go meet a lot of them, and some of them even let me fly my drone through the auto show, which was sick. But it just so happened that on that day my GoPro was out of focus for some reason.
Uh-oh.
So now
Bummer.
I didn't even want to share that footage with anyone because I'm like, so maybe next year, right?
Right. 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 Yeah. Well, you got the experience though, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, or just thinking of those creative ways of just doing things. I told you about the reptiles, the snakes. So sometimes I rent snakes to events or belly dancers. So then I'll go to these events and I'll have a drone in my bag. And then I'll
Yeah.
ask the organizer, hey, do you care if I fly through with my drone? And they're like, okay, just send us the footage. And
Uh-huh.
then you're able to kind of like do other things that you wouldn't be able to do. But
Right.
lots of the time, that's the key to just like asking, right? Trying, like not being afraid and reaching out to as many people as you can, because as soon as you make that one good relationship like you made with your friend, then it,
Mhm.
you have that credibility. You already did it.
Right.
And once you've
Right.
done it, it's so much easier to do it again. But it's also so important in the industry because it's small, like it's not huge. There's only so much. So you want to make sure that you're competent. So like with drones, for instance, I haven't done as much reaching out or trying to get jobs because I just wanted to focus on learning how to fly and be able to go somewhere and not embarrass myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then seeing like you taught yourself, you said on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
seeing that it's very interesting because I find often the people that teach themselves are the most creative, talented, and like I saw you and you stood out to me more than maybe someone that went to school and got a proper education, right? So I
Mhm.
really I love that and love seeing that type of person and sharing with people that the limit lots of the time is them, and that it's not about, you know, getting a crazy education. You can teach yourself just about anything with YouTube.
Yeah, oh, yeah. YouTube is like the most amazing thing to come along in forever. That's why it's so huge. But yeah, I credit YouTube with a lot of my success. There's just so much you can learn anything that you want on YouTube. So it's just an amazing platform.
Yeah, and obviously you're a giving person, like by seeing your tutorials and the way that you teach people. What do you feel from that? Like, why do you enjoy helping people?
I honestly just, and there's a couple of reasons why I post on YouTube. One is that like I love the platform itself. I love the community of YouTube, and I just want to be a part of it. But it's also one of those things too that YouTube, like I was telling my daughter this the other day that like there's been certain things in my life where I've wanted to they seemed like perplexing to me about how to conquer them. Like surfing was one of those things. Like I didn't surf when I was a kid, and then when I was about 25, I just got a bug that like I wanted to learn how to surf. I thought it was like the most craziest thing that you could go in the water and go on a wave and like actually stand up on a board and ride it. Like it seemed like how does that even work? How do you? It seems like defy physics. And I was determined to learn, and so I did. I learned how to do it. I didn't get very good, but like I wanted to learn it, and I learned how to do it. YouTube is. I feel it's like I feel the same way about YouTube because there's been many years I've had a YouTube account forever, but there's been many years where I posted videos that got like 200 views or 100 views or whatever. And I know that there's people that just crush it on YouTube, and it's just one of those things that like there there's a way to do it to actually get views, right? We were just talking about this, and so that was one thing that I'm like determined that I want to like conquer it. I just want to learn how to do it well, and so that I can get an audience from it because I love the platform and I want to learn it. You know, I'm a student.
Oh yes, absolutely, Tom, and thank you. And thank you to everyone that's watching. If any of you have questions, uh, go for it. And I will definitely, I'm going to send him a link so his channel will be connected to this video. So you'll be able to subscribe to him. No problem. And I forgot his name again. Something with a W.
Wyman.
Wyman. I'm like Weinstein. He's like,
There you go.
are you German
When
or
I was a
Jewish
kid,
or
bro, I don't even know, man. Like
why?
I'm a
Why
mutt of
man?
like all different
Why
sorts.
man? Okay.
Exact. Yes, I was just gonna say that. That's what happened when I was a kid. People go, "Why, man? Why?" You know. So that's an easy way to remember it.
Yeah.
But no worries, man. Yeah, Wyman. Yeah, so that's why I like posting on YouTube. It's a multiple reasons. I just enjoy the platform. I think it's fun, and I mean, I'm getting to meet you. It's you know, these are things that I wouldn't the opportunities that I might not have otherwise.
And I love the whole idea of to collaborate versus compete, you know, because lots of
Hmm.
people in our spaces, you know, you get creative people, and I'm sure you've seen people where it's like photographers where they gatekeep or don't want you near
Right,
them,
right.
or and like for me when I started doing hair when I was 19, so
Yeah,
self-employed since basically 19. I opened a salon when I was 25 and I've been at it kind of ever since. And now I'm 40. But
yeah.
when I'd go to these photo shoots and I'd be styling hair, now I'm sitting there for like an hour or two doing nothing. So I got myself a DSLR and then I'm like, hey, like, is it okay if I take a couple shots like in between or like or if I notice something they're very good at, like, oh, how did you do this? And some people, they're not as like sharing or nice, and then other people are like, they're like, oh, like you just complimented them, and they're like, thank you, yeah, for sure, I'll show you, you can do this. So being able to kind of like pick skills off of all sorts of different people is such a like special thing, and YouTube allows us to all connect to each other. So I really like introducing mostly like I like drone builders and that kind of
Mm.
stuff, but you just kind
Yeah.
of stood out uniquely because of the way you capture your shots is very efficient, is very obviously you're very talented and you're a nice person. So why not,
Thank
right?
you. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, man. I
Why
appreciate that.
not? Let's and then you're able to support your family doing something you enjoy. Is it
Yeah.
Do you have a wife?
Yes, yes, yes. I got a wife. I got two kids. Yeah, two daughters.
Okay, and well, does the wife work?
Yes, she does. She's a teacher, but we may be having sort of a life change right in the middle of it right now. She actually might be leaving her career,
Oh,
which is crazy. To maybe do work with me. We're seriously discussing that. I don't know. It's an ongoing conversation. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure yet.
yeah, it's just when you're together, is time always wonderful?
Of course.
Because if you know my wife,
I saw you laughing
I
there.
don't know if you've seen my wife. She's a celebrity on most of my channels just because she's always mad at me every day for everything.
Dude, I literally saw one of your shorts where she's telling you about cleaning up something or
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
like your gear,
It's a
Yeah,
never ending. It's like an ongoing joke. Like sometimes you'll see a live stream and it's like cleaning, and people
yeah.
just come and laugh because I'm one of those people. Like I'll pick up something and I'll be like, oh, uh, what do I do with this, or where can I put it, or like what's the best place to? I'll think about cleaning more than cleaning, and then like when I'm building something, I'll make a mess, and then
Yeah.
why is it a mess? And it's like because I was doing something very important.
Of course, yeah. That's how it goes. I mean, you gotta break some eggs to, break some shells to make the eggs, right? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
Uh,
It's funny because I joke that one day, my only goal in life is like to get to the point where I get to make the crying video, where it's like, oh, I did it, we did it, I got to quit my job and be a full time YouTuber. Like,
oh, right,
oh,
right, right.
thank
Yeah,
you, thank you.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, yeah.
Without
I
your
just want to
support.
make one of those crying videos, and I made one last year actually because someone robbed me like 5 grand in crypto, so that was terrible. But I'm like,
Oh,
that
yikes.
was not supposed to be it.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
life, man. Crazy good things happen, crazy terrible things happen, and when you put yourself out there and you put yourself in these positions, like taking risks, amazing things can happen and horrible things can happen, and especially
Mhm.
if you're open and you say what you think, because lots of people, especially here, people are very PC, you're like so proper, and I'm one of those people that like nothing excites me like crossing that line.
I saw one of your videos where you talked about the difference between Canadians and people in the U.S. I found that take very interesting. It's interesting to hear somebody from Canada give their opinion on the differences between the two countries, the Canada and the U.S. So that was awesome.
Oh, like even on a short, I was at Niagara Falls, and I'm always joking, I'm always having fun, right? Like I'm very lighthearted. And sometimes people
Mm.
will take that the wrong way. They'll think maybe I'm being cocky or something, or that my joke is real. Like I've had this problem my whole life where it's like I don't understand how people can watch a show, see Keanu Reeves shoot someone, and then leave and like, that was a movie. They were entertaining, right? Like he didn't actually kill anyone, right? But I feel like
Uh-huh.
that happens to me all the time with like things I say. Like someone will hear me say something and it'll be like, "Oh my god, can you believe he said this or did that?" Or like, so
You get that often?
I went to Niagara Falls and I made like a stupid. I also have like a vlog channel, a reptile channel, the drone channel, and I made this dumb channel. Like it's just my stupid channel where I just, because I like live stream and hanging out with people. So I don't want, I have like people that actually know me in real life on my blog and stuff, like family and whatever. And then sometimes it's like you don't want people that know you to be scrutinizing you or like talking crap about you. But when it's strangers, it's like I've always felt so much more comfortable talking to strangers than to like, I used to go to the library and just make friends online because it's like you could
Yeah.
tell them like, hey, you know, I had a bad day, the chick I've liked for 5 years never looks at me and now she's dating that idiot. Like, you know, you could
Yeah.
tell a stranger anything and there's no consequence and they can't hurt your feelings
Yeah.
or tell your
I think
parents.
that Yeah, I think there's less, probably less judgment, you know what I mean, coming from the other end, because they don't, and even if they are judging you, it's like it doesn't matter because they don't know you, you know what I mean? So the judgment is, it's not, it's coming from a place where they don't know what they're talking about, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It doesn't matter. You can walk away and it's not going to get you. Right. So
Right, right, right.
I went to Niagara Falls and I made like a cheeky little, like, hey, look at the American side of Niagara Falls. Like, it's
Uh-huh.
just a wasteland. And then look at the Canadian side. We have all these fun things, like the nice casino, the Ferris wheel and all this stuff. And it was just funny because like a whole pile, like not really my people, right? But it was just a whole pile of
Yeah.
Americans got on there. It's like, yeah, you know, well, like we basically own you, and like,
Oh
it's
no.
just,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's hilarious. I think it got like 25,000 views in a day, and I was
yeah.
just like, okay, cool. But the other thing I was talking about this the other day because the Canadian drone people, like my whole community here, are not as they're very, I don't know, think about old guys flying with radio RCs from back in the day and they don't really change. They don't become modern. And so then you go and do anything a little bit more risky and it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you did that. Like, I don't know. The equivalent I'd be is like you go with your gimbal on the roof and make some crazy rooftop shot. And then some people are like, oh man, that's not safe. You could have hurt yourself.
Mhm.
It's like, well, good for
Yeah.
me. Like I ride motorcycles too, and I used to be pretty crazy. So it's like on a motorcycle, or even the moment you get in a car, you can hurt someone so easily. But flying a
Mhm.
little toy drone, like even if you flew it, like someone made the comment that like if you could have taken someone's eye out or something, you know, that could have happened. Like it's a
Right.
possibility, but don't talk to me about like what could have happened because the moment you get in a car, you could drive someone over. That doesn't mean you're
Yeah, yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do. That's like my
Right,
mentality. So it's just like I think I have a real kind of black and white. Like if it's not a problem until it's a problem, and then lots of
right,
times
right.
the problems happen within our own community, or
Yeah.
we want to have rights, but then I also kind of believe that you kind of get the most rights by just, you know, kind of like
Do you ever
yeah.
do you ever do you ever fly your drone in places where it's like sort of like heavily populated and you get pushback from people because they think you're filming them or anything like that? Have you ever experienced that?
Um, like I said, most of the problem has been within the community, like just
Mhm,
Karens. And I have had a lot of security and police and stuff because I like
mhm,
like I like taking my tiny drone and flying it through the mall. Because
mhm.
there's no law saying you can't fly your drone through the mall.
I don't think I can do that here.
No, like you can, you'll get kicked out because it's like
Yeah,
but that's what I mean, right? Like so that's where I
yeah,
get in trouble because it's like there is no law saying you can't do it. So this is what would
yeah.
happen. You go to your mall, fly a tiny drone through, and I'm not talking about a big scary, like I'm talking about little toy drones basically.
Mhm,
So if I fly it through the mall, the for you I think the FAA I don't think has I don't know if the FAA has jurisdiction indoors, that would be like a
Mhm.
big contributing factor, because here Transit Canada has they have no authority the moment you're indoors. And someone's
Oh, interesting.
asking about do you have your 107? I think you need it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his
Yeah.
107, and Tom just got his 107 today. So congratulations
Congrats.
to
That's
Tom.
awesome.
And he uses DJI drone. What is the main drones that you're using? Is it just one, like
DJI.
it's a Mavic Pro, or what are you using?
Yeah, I have the Mavic Pro 3. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's using the Maverick Pro 3, but I told him if he ever comes here, I'll teach him FPV in a day.
100%.
Yeah.
I love it.
But so for instance, what would end up happening, you fly through them all. If you get caught, security would say, "Hey, you can't do that." And then you leave. And then maybe a few months later, you could do it again. But if security was to take you and write you up and say, "Hey, you're not allowed to do this. This is your warning. Don't do it again." Then if you did it, then you could get charged with trespassing. You could get charged with all sorts of different things. But
Right.
you couldn't really get charged with flying the drone. You get charged with trespassing, or you get charged with disturbing the peace or stuff like
Mhm.
that. But outside on public property, the moment you go outside, people can take pictures of you, they can take videos of you, and there's nothing, you want to be nice. Like, I don't want to be mean to anyone
Right.
either, right? But
Right.
I think that it is important to understand the laws of those kind. Like, I had a lady once, I was just setting up my drone and she walked by me and she was rude. She was like, like, "Were you filming me?" Like, I don't know, she just had a bad attitude, and when people have a
Mhm.
bad attitude, I'm bad that way. Like, I'm a little, so I'm like, "No, I wasn't filming you, but if I did, there's nothing you could do about it." Like, I'm like, I could take my camera and film you right now, and you're out on the public sidewalk, and there's absolutely nothing you could do about it. So just be nice,
Yeah, there's some crazy people out here, man. Some people get really, really nuts. I had a guy one time, I was shooting a property and I was flying over someone else's property, pointing my camera at another house. And I'm very OCD in that I want like the perfect shot. So sometimes I'll spend like 30 or 40 seconds like lining up my shot, and then I'll like do the slow pan around or something like that. And I don't know how long I was over this guy's house, but I was probably like, 15 feet over his house. I don't know exactly what area of his house I was over, but this dude came out. He was freaking yoked, man. He was like, this dude, I guarantee the dude was on roids or something. He was freaking massive. And I swear to God, he couldn't even catch his breath. He was huffing and puffing so hard. I literally thought the guy was gonna like punch me into a pink mist or something like that. He was so pissed off, telling me that he told me he was part of SWAT and all this stuff, and like, I mean, straight up threatening me, like threatening my life. You know what I mean? And that's probably one of the most extreme experiences I've had. I've had other people where they'll say things, but it's more subtle. But it's definitely a real thing over here where people get like all bent out of shape. They really pride themselves on like privacy and things like that. And even when you're not shooting, when you're in a tract of homes, if you're shooting one property and you have, in order to get that property, you kind of have to be close to the other property that you're
Yeah.
not shooting, and so people can like lose their minds, you
Yeah.
know.
Rich entitled people can be like that too. Like, I've done a bit of mapping,
For sure.
and
Yeah.
where sometimes I'm in rich areas and it's like, yeah, some of them, "Hey, I don't want you here," or whatever. Like, "Okay, I'm leaving."
Yeah.
"You're not
Yeah.
leaving."
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I actually am." Like, "If it really bothers you, call the police." It's like, the police will take
Yeah.
30 minutes to get there. See, like, a lot of the things too is uh the way some people will plan a day of flying. And if you plan, so you charge all your drone packs and you go to the field and you're flying all day, or anytime, let's say you went to an area where you're there for hours, there's a lot more, I think, possibility of maybe someone being bothered or checking it out or whatever. Whereas
Right.
I've always been kind of more like a ninja. Like, okay, I'm gonna go. I want to shoot this skyscraper, so I find the most like inconspicuous spot. I get myself all set up. I got my hoodie on, and I'm just looking at like I got 3 minutes. And it's like in those 3 minutes, I'm gonna get the coolest shot I can get, and then I'm out of there.
Yeah.
So most of the
Yeah.
time, I'm never gonna have problems. Someone said X-Wing said indoor is private property as long as you get permission from the property owner. It's fine to operate drones indoors. And yeah, so absolutely. So if there's events like let's say DJs or whatever indoors, if you get permission,
Mhm.
you can do those things. The way that I've never well, I've done some of those things properly, but like things like malls, you're not going to be able to ask the mall owner,
Right.
"Hey, can I film your mall?" So it's just I'm along the lines of do it and you can get it. Like I think the most you can get in trouble, you can get like $1,000 fine here, which wouldn't be
Mhm.
nice, but that's kind of the worst thing that could
Yeah.
happen to you.
They we have one other like law that I don't know. It gives me pause for thinking of doing something like that, which is that you can't fly over anyone's head,
Mm,
like directly overhead of someone. I don't know if you guys have that law or not, but we do. So yeah, you can't fly directly over someone's head. That's part of like the FAA, law requirements. So yeah, I don't know that that would work. You know what I mean?
yeah.
For
See,
us in
for
here.
for us, what's interesting in Toronto is you can't fly like the drone you have. You basically can't fly anywhere. So anything over sub 250 grams is
Mhm.
all of Toronto is a Class C airspace. So in Class C airspace, you have to get permission. So anytime you want to fly anywhere, like commercially or whatever, you have to get permission. You have to send the thing to Transit Canada, like the air people, and you have to get permission, and then you can do it if you're licensed. But with this sub 250, you don't need a license for commercial. Unlike the
Mm.
107, you guys need to get a license for commercial. We don't need a license for commercial as long as it's under 250
Okay.
grams. Also,
Oh, interesting.
under 250 grams, the only place we're not allowed is Class F airspace. So that's like airports. So like the CN Tower is actually legal. So that's pretty fun. And the thing is that yeah, we're governed by like the don't do anything stupid rule. Like don't do
Mhm.
anything dangerous or whatever. So that could be different to different people. So in the end it's basically if you do something dumb, like if you cause damage or you hurt someone or anything like that, then yeah, you get in really big trouble, but if not, it's kind of a sub 250 free for all, but you're not allowed to
Okay.
fly in the park. So that's the funniest thing about it. Like if you go
What?
to the park, yeah, the parks are a no drone zone. So if you go to the playground or like any field that's like a Toronto park, you're not allowed
Mhm.
technically to fly your drone there, whether it's large, small, or whatever. But I can go into the busiest city of Toronto and I can like do these dives down skyscrapers, and
I love it.
that's legal. Like, is it
Yeah.
safe? And then you get people that get mad at you or whatever, but it's just like
Yeah.
I've had people accuse me of voyeurism, which basically has to do with sex stuff. Like if you see someone changing or they're naked or something by the window, which like I would never, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
flying
yeah,
up
yeah.
the windows, I see someone, hey, maybe I get a positive or maybe I get a screw off, either
Yeah, yeah.
is fine. But lots of the time,
Right.
you see a guy in the window, he'll see the drone, oh, that's sick, like, hey, right? And uh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
entertaining, like I like to entertain and have fun, right? Or
For sure.
do something that other people aren't doing. So it's like I don't really believe that I encourage people. Like I don't want people to do the same things as me. I know that I'm doing something kind of like more, I'd call it like extreme sports FPV, because it's like
Mhm.
you see someone do something with a BMX where they could easily, break their leg or crack their neck, and it's like you don't go and do that. Like you understand, hey,
Right.
this is entertainment, but I don't know why some people are not able to, with certain things, understand that like, okay, this guy's taking some risks and I think it's awesome, but I'm never going to do it. Or
Right.
or like, okay, maybe I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. Yeah.
It's hard, I think, when I have ADD and borderline. And I'd say it's kind of like almost being on the spectrum a bit, where it's just like the emotional regulation or morality is not the same as everyone else. And it's not really an excuse, it's a reason. It's just I don't feel guilt, I guess, or things the way that most people do. I get almost the opposite. So it's like people with Tourette's where they swear and it makes them feel amazing, right? Like
Right.
like let's say someone was to steal something and that's bad, you shouldn't be stealing, and then maybe they feel horrible. But I'm the type of person where it's like if I stole something from a store and I'm going to the metal detectors and I'm like, oh my god, they're going to catch me, and I walk through the metal detectors and all of a sudden there's a smile on my face, I got away with it, it's mine and it was free. like, not to say stealing is right. I don't steal. Like when I was a kid, I stole a lot. I remember the first thing I stole was a Mr. Stretch. Do you remember Mr. Stretch?
No, I don't.
There were like those toys, Hot Wheels, Micro Machines, Polly Pockets. There was a Mr. Stretch.
That one I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
he
have to
was
look
like
that
this
one up.
stretchy like toy. And my parents are like Christian, and I was raised very proper. And like there was a karate Mr. Stretch, so I can't get him because he's karate and that's violent, right? So I remember
Oh, interesting.
looking
I
at
didn't realize that was part of the fundamentalist belief that karate's bad.
everyone's different, right? Everyone has different
Yeah.
morals and values, right?
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the camera, looking, and I like the shelf. I'm like, the camera can't see through the shelf, so I stuck my sleeve and
Yeah.
I stuck Mr. Stretch Karate Edition in my sleeve. And
A thief.
then he was mine.
A high level thief from the very beginning.
And it's just like, I don't know, I never felt it's bad, I guess, but I would never steal from friends, but I always kind of in my brain was like, these companies are stealing from everyone, so if I even the playing field a bit, it's okay. Which is, it's not good. It's not good. You shouldn't steal.
Yeah. Well, I've done my share of that in my former past life, so you're not alone.
Good. Tell us a naughty story. Come on, let's go.
I don't know if you know the store. Have you heard of Kmart?
Of course. We used to have them too. We had Zellers. Kmart. I don't know if it's the same.
I went into Kmart. Well, so like when I was like 14, 15, I was getting into the era where like, we're listening to like Metallica and heavy metal and stuff like that. Me and a couple of friends, and me and a buddy of mine went to Kmart, and we decided we were going to go on a little tear and snag some cassettes. This was back when cassettes were still around, and I think we were loading up our jacket with like, the inner lining and stuff like that. We ended up both of us walking out with about 10 cassettes, and we did not make it past the security. So yeah, we did get caught on that one.
So it beeped and then they stopped you?
No, it didn't beep. No, they just saw us, man. They just saw us.
They got you before you walked out. Okay.
No, you have to walk out first in order for it to be considered.
That's
stealing,
another rule.
I mean?
Lots of people don't know. You can stick stuff in your pockets until you walk out. It's not theft.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, fortunately, those were back in the day. I left that behind me long.
You learned your lesson.
Of course, you have to. Yeah. I mean, well, you don't have to, I guess, but it's good to.
See, I told you I got into hairdressing when I was like 19, and I was right at the beginning. I was in high-end shows, so there were people with the newest phones and with Louis Vuittons, and like there was all that stuff that was like there, and I was like wanting to steal. But I just like, I think at that point when I was like 19 or 20, I was just like, same thing. It's like, it's a closed community. All these people know each other. And it's just like, you screw up in that environment. Like you don't get to be in that environment anymore. So I think there was one time that like I almost got caught. And I think that was when it was like, okay, you know what? It's not worth it. You know, buying stuff takes a lot longer. Working for things take a lot longer. But when you work for something and you earn it and it's yours, it feels good, you know. And I grew up in a basement with my dad, and we never really had anything. So then working
Mm.
in the richest area in Toronto, where all the people would wear like
Mhm.
$300 jeans. I don't know if you know, like Rockin' Republics and
Mhm.
Nudies and Seven for Mankind. So like when I was like 19 years old or whatever, these jeans were so popular, and like people would buy $300 jeans. So I would save up my money and get like one pair every year, so that like after 5 years I have five pairs of like $300 jeans. And
Yeah.
it's funny how being around materialistic people really kind of rubs off on you. And later in
Mm.
life, I dated this girl that was just, she was loaded. Her mom was a teacher, her dad was a doctor, and she was so simple, and she would buy all her clothes at thrift stores. And she kind of had a really big kind of turning for me, where it was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I can get a pair of American Eagle jeans for $40 on sale, and they're just as good as a $300
Mhm.
pair. Yeah, I love American Eagle
Right.
jeans. They have that little stretch.
Mhm.
Uh, pl-
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
plus, they used Sweeney. You saw that like commercial?
Oh, yes.
She
Yes,
has
yes,
good
yes.
jeans. I'm like, I'll stand by that.
Yeah, that was, definitely a viral, commercial that happened.
Oh man, it's crazy. Like I watched a thing about Gillette. Do you remember the toxic masculinity Gillette commercial?
I didn't see that one.
Well, you probably remember it, like if you look it up. But apparently, Gillette lost, I think, like $8 billion after it.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was
Oh, wow.
basically it was a skit showing men being toxic, you know, hitting on women, and like I don't know, just being toxic, and then advertising basically to their customers like
When was this?
don't be like that. It was years ago, but
Oh, okay.
it's kind of funny when like, okay, I don't know. Be careful what you say, right? Because it's like you want to treat everyone nice, but then you also, you know, you want to be a man, like in a non toxic way. But it's like like back in the day, you know, when you had a problem, I kind of do like fair. Like, okay, you got a problem, I got a problem. Let's put on a pair of gloves and go in the ring and settle it. You know, that way,
Mhm.
not like, okay, five of us ganging up on someone or just talking nonsense. Cause like now we're in this world where like everyone's ready to talk crap, but no one's ready to put a pair of gloves on. So
Well,
I've
that's part of the whole internet thing too. Like, so, you mentioned about how it's easy to talk to people online about personal things or whatever because there's no consequences, you don't feel judged and stuff like that. But it's also the opposite too, right? Where there is no consequences, so people can say whatever they want to, and people just lose their freaking minds on social media and things like that because it's sort of you have free reign to do whatever you want without any consequences. So that I think that kind of goes to your point about like saying things but not being able to back it up, by putting on the gloves and hashing it out in real life. You know what I mean?
yeah. And then with your kids, do you do you want them to go to school? Do you want to encourage them to kind of do something entrepreneurial? Are there stuff like that you kind of do with them already?
Yeah, I mean, well, both, honestly. I do want them to go to school, to college, and I do want them to be entrepreneurs as well. I think it's good to get an education just for the sense of, using your brain, getting that accomplishment, and expanding, your knowledge base. But then being an entrepreneur as well, because then there's no cap. There's so many jobs out there where it's just everything is just capped all the time. And being an entrepreneur, finding your own pace and growing in that way, I think it's the future. To be honest with you, like for if you really want to be successful, working for someone else over the long term is hard to make ends meet, especially now. Like everything's so expensive. I don't know about where you live, but it's crazy here. It's crazy expensive. I mean, if you want to get a house, okay, my wife's telling me something. Yes, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, like a basic house around where I live is like you can't. It's hard to find anything under $1 million for like a single family residence. So working for someone else, it makes it really difficult to find something that is going to, where you're going to be financially stable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
long term.
Oh, absolutely. Like for me, my goal, actually, one of my favorite quotes is, you can work for your own dreams or someone will pay you to work for theirs. And
Hmm.
just being self-employed since 19, kind of making all my dreams come true. You working for years, not making anything, and then making decent money. And for
Yeah.
me, I was just laughing.
Is
Like
that is that is that Gary V?
life was wonderful. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Gary V actually. I don't know if you watch him and what's the other guy? The Hermosi. They're
Yeah,
pretty.
Alex Ramosi.
I like Hermosi more because Gary just
Yeah.
swears left, right, and center. But Gary, I think, has the story where he was going to work he was working at this store, and then a girl was coming, and he was going to like have a date, and the owner told him he had to scrape some gum off the floor, and he didn't want to do it in front of the girl, so he quit. Maybe that was his story, maybe it was somebody else's, but it was just like in that
That
moment
sounds like a Gary V story.
he learned, there's some people that scrape the crap off the floor and there's people that own the floor or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Right.
It was
Right.
all those like entrepreneurial guys. There's another guy, something Tracy. He has really good audiobooks. Brian
Hmm.
Tracy. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, if you
I'm not
ever
familiar with him.
if you ever want to feel motivated, Brian Tracy goals. Yeah, I think
Okay.
goals. He's got some like 6-hour audiobooks, and like when you're just bored you can listen to them, but he has some really excellent like motivational where like you believe you can do it and you can. And I've been the person where it's like I'll work like a dog to be able to have that freedom. Like I'll do any crap as long as the end is more freedom for me. But like you put me in
Hmm.
a 9 to 5 and I just want to off myself. Like it's just
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, COVID stripped me of 2 businesses. So it stripped me of the snake business and of the hair salon. And like now after all these years, finally the hair salon's starting to pick up again. And
Yeah.
I've wasted way too much time here with the drone stuff because I love it. So
Mhm.
I've built it took 3 years and about $20,000 to build the drone business. And now
Mhm.
it doesn't cost me anything. So it's not super profitable, but I don't have to pay to fly drones or have fun anymore. And we get to keep meeting people and growing and connecting. So it's a very, very enjoyable, like kind of feeds the soul kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the beginning it was very hard because like get buying all the supplies from China to build drones and stuff, like when you get all the
Mhm.
parts, you always have to pay in American money. And I have
Okay.
Canadian money. So
Right.
and the minimum orders are like $500 to $1,000. So
Mm.
but because like that's how my brain worked, like right from the beginning, it was like, okay, I can pay $25 a motor and get 4 for 100, or I buy the motors for $10 and buy 50 of them.
Yeah.
So it's just like I gotta spend 500 for the motors instead. So, but I kind of right
Right.
from the beginning looked at it like that. But I'd have to spend 800 Canadian dollars to spend 500 American dollars. So it was just
Mhm.
really brutal. And then now basically all the money that comes in from sales that goes to buying more. So it's just none of it touches my bank account. It just I gather the money,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and Black Friday comes, and I order all the supplies, and I get,
Yeah.
and then each time I get more inventory. So I started making my own battery straps and getting propellers from the source instead of from other companies, and just slowly sourcing all the different parts. And I find that very kind of enjoyable too. But my wife, like, every time we do taxes, I can't hide that from her. So she's just,
Yeah.
you spent 3 vacations on drones. But because I make so little now, being married, my wife gets like a few $1,000s every year from my crap. So then that's because she loves vacations, and my wife spends all the money she has a good salary, and she spends it all on food and vacations. So I kind of have,
Nice.
yeah. And then for me, like, I'm the type of person where if you make your life like a vacation where you do something you love, then you never feel like, oh, I got to get away. So she
Yeah, for
basically
sure.
forces me to go on vacation with her, and we use the money from the tax rebates that she gets from me being so poor. But she's always kind of mad at me for it's been such a whirlwind, because before COVID, I would make what she made in a week, I'd do it in a day. And then she'd be mad at me for that too, like, you brat, and then now it's like I live kind of like month to month, and I'm just getting by, and I'm just starting to get back on my feet. But for her, she lacks empathy, so it's like there's no understanding. There's kind of like, stop being a bum. Why don't you instead of talking to people online, why don't you go get a real job? But to me, I'm like, all this can eventually, even if it takes like 10 years, like, even if it takes 20 years, if in 20 years you can make a living off of YouTube, then why not, right?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think YouTube's a great such a great platform, and it gives you the possibility to be able to do that for sure. But it definitely is a long game.
Yeah. Okay. So anything you specifically want to share with people, or anything you feel like talking about or asking me about? This is,
Yeah, no, I guess if anyone has any interest in doing real estate media, I think that, has interest in cameras or anything like that, or trying to figure out how to make money with their camera, I would just encourage people to look at that market, because when I picked up a camera a little bit later in life. I didn't pick up a camera until I was like 37, and I didn't have cameras were not on my radar when I was younger. And when my wife got pregnant with our first kid, we wanted to get a camera to sort of document our lives. And I got like something from Costco, just like the kit, camera setup. It was like a Nikon D3200, I think
hey,
it
that's
was,
good. It
with a
wasn't
kit.
a Rebel TI.
And just the kit lens, and I remember messing around with it, trying to figure out how this thing worked. And I took a photo of, I put a candle on a table, and I took a photo of it. And I looked back at it. I had no idea what I was doing, but I looked at the photo, and the candle was like perfectly sharp, and everything in the background was super blurry. I'm like, holy crap, this is like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I can't believe that just happened. I didn't do it on purpose. It was just an accident, but I was totally hooked, and I wanted to figure out how to be able to take, over the next couple of months. I wanted to figure out, is this something I could actually like make money at or anything like that? And it took me a while to figure it out. And for me, what it really boiled down to was finding a genre of photography that you could get repeat clients from. And there's so many of these things, like doing headshots for people, doing portraits, things like that, where you will you can make money at doing that. But like,
You gotta
the
hunt.
average client, well, yeah, the average client's going to hire you, and then they're not going to call you for another couple of years, or like, if that. Whereas a realtor is going to call you, if they're good at what they do, they might be calling you every other week or once a month or something like that. The repeat business is amazing, and that's the only industry in photography that I've found that operates like that. Real estate, you know what I mean? So I would encourage anybody that's, is passionate about using cameras and gear like that, drones. If you really want to try to make money, that's the avenue that I would encourage people to head down. You know what I mean? That's been working for me.
And then how do you feel about vertical content? Are you doing a lot of it or a bit of it here or there? You're doing both at the same time? Like when you post a video also on, let's say, Instagram, are you filling the screen vertically or are you using it horizontally? Tell us all about all that.
So the whole vertical content thing has probably been the last 2 years, maybe three, something like that. Before that, everything was horizontal, but with Instagram and Instagram stories, and now YouTube Shorts. I do get a lot of requests for vertical content, and the way I sort of have my business structured is I don't want to just ditch the horizontal content altogether. I still want to offer that, but I offer both. I offer horizontal and I offer vertical, and I offer different price points for people. So like people that don't have big budgets or they're not selling like multi-million dollar homes, but they still want to have something. I offer something that's super reasonably priced, and I'll shoot a lot of that content like on my iPhone. You know what I mean? On a gimbal still, but with an iPhone, we'll just do like a quick walkthrough of the home and provide like a vertical reel that they can use for their social media. And then we still do vertical reels that are like high end as well. I just put a video out yesterday on how to shoot like a more high end look on vertical style. So it kind of runs the gamut. But I would say in terms of what people are requesting more of, it was obviously horizontal, and it is shifting more into vertical content. But we still do, it's about split right now, 50-50 on the content that we're making.
Okay. Now gimbals, love and hate. But also, do you feel like you could get away with doing everything you're doing with the phone?
That is a great question. You could, that's sort of a double-edged sword, is that you can. I did some comparisons before on like iPhone versus like a Sony A7S III, and you know, there are differences. Honestly, some of the iPhone stuff can actually be better at times because of the computational HDR. So like the view out the window is easier to see with an iPhone than it is with like a higher end camera, because the iPhone's doing that computational HDR where it's reining in the high, the dynamic range. But I don't exactly know how it works, but it's something like they're stacking different images on top of each other at different exposures
Yeah.
to be able to get that better HDR look.
Well, because
But
the
there's a
phone,
trade-off too.
all those auto settings, like on the phone versus manual with a camera, right? Like with a camera, are you dialing in everything manually? Or are you using a lot of auto for like the shutter settings? Like, are there some settings that you're leaving auto?
Yes, yeah. For me, I mean, there's some people that like to shoot all manual, but I find that like, if you want to try to get in and out of property and maintain profits and move as quickly as you can and still get quality product. For me, that means putting some things in auto. You have to move it out sometimes, depending on the shot, but I'll shoot auto ISO for exposure. You know what I mean? So like that's helpful if I'm like inside a house and trying to get a shot that leads outside. The exposure is obviously going to be different. So setting it to auto will help you manage that. I also do auto, what is it, white
White
balance
balance.
too,
So white balance
most
and
of the time.
ISO. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
shutter,
yeah,
if you mess with shutter, it can get weird.
yes, yeah, for sure. You can get like that wavy lines if you're at too low a shutter speed, and then it looks like an action movie,
Slow
like
motion.
Saving Private Ryan or something like that. If you have the shutter speed cranked up too high.
Hey, someone asked, what is the most money you've ever got on a job? And tell us about it.
Hmm.
Tell us the story.
Let's see. On one job, so I did a job with somebody else that lives close to me, and we collaborated on a job. It was for a property where it was basically the agent was someone who was representing a unit of a complex of properties.
So it's
So it was
commercial
like six.
property.
No, it was like 16 condos, but it was all like
Oh.
within one area. It was a new build, and he was representing all of them. So this person wanted to hire someone to create a more of like a lifestyle video for that he was going to use to market all of them. So he had a huge budget, like he had a bigger budget to work with. It wasn't just like one property. He was representing like 16 properties. So he wanted to get something super nice that he could have on a loop when people came through to see the properties. And that one, I believe it was about $5,000 for that project. And we ended up getting, actors involved, and we went to multiple locations to shoot sort of a lifestyle shoot. That was great. That was probably the most expensive one for like just a video project. But we do, the way I have my business set up is I have packages that I offer people. So we'll do like photos, video, like a Matterport virtual tour, floor plans, property websites. We kind of do like everything marketing wise for realtors. So I have a lot of clients that will hire me and order one of those packages. Like I have a complete package that starts at $1,000 and goes up based on the square footage. So we can easily do a shoot that is, $1,000 or $1,500 depending on the square footage if they're ordering a package.
Okay, that's cool. So with the floor
Yeah.
plans though, because you're getting permission from that real estate agent to like film that area, and then
Yeah.
you're getting then the plans off them and sharing that. Like, how are you getting those floor plans?
Well, so Matterport, that virtual tour, there's a couple of different platforms that you can get floor plans made from. Their apps. Matterport is one of them where you can shoot a Matterport virtual tour. It's basically you have like a 360 camera, you walk through the whole house, and you get scans. Like it's a photo, but it's
Okay.
a 360 photo, and then you walk through the house and get a bunch of those different photos, and then in Matterport will stitch it all together and make a virtual tour out of it. And then you can also grab a floor plan from there.
So that's a software that puts it all together, so they can then, like, once you've grabbed the images, it creates the
Yes.
walkthrough thing. So then you don't actually have to edit it yourself.
That's correct.
Oh, that's
Yeah. It
sweet.
stitches it together.
So that's a software.
Yeah, Matterport.
And is it like a annual subscription, or is it like a one buy once, or?
No, it's a monthly subscription. There are free plans with Matterport. It's like something I don't. It's been a while since I've
because I
actually looked on the
hate
pricing
editing
page.
360 stuff. I think it's cool, but
Yeah,
it's like
so
editing's like twice as long because you got to like reframe everything and then cut and.
oh yeah. Well, this isn't for video
Yeah.
stuff. This is like for stills. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's something like under 5 properties, that you should, or under 5 Matterport scans, jobs, it's free. And then like 5 to 20 or something like that, it's like $80 a month or something like that.
Okay. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Matterport's it's cool. There's a lot of stuff going on in the industry right now, or the real estate industry, where they're trying to get like sort of boxed out by Zillow. Zillow, do you have Zillow?
We have like renter.ca or whatever. Like
Okay.
like there's tons of different, there's a lot of different real estate stuff here, but we don't really, I can check if we have Zillow. It's something that
For some reason I was thinking that you guys didn't have Zillow.
I've always kind of looked at I've always looked at real estate as being a great way to have a like steady income, but I never actually started diving into it because, like I said to him, oh yeah, there's Wingzilla. Let's go for wings. Yeah, there's Wingzilla.
Yeah, so
no Zilla here.
Yeah, Zillow is a huge, like it's like the number one platform for showing homes in the U.S. And they've been trying to kind of corner the market on everything. I mean, they've tried to like do in with realtors, do in photographers. They try to take everybody out of the
Ubering
equation.
everything.
100%. And they started doing the same thing with Matterport too. So Matterport is like, they're their own company, and Zillow's doing something where they're trying to say, oh, Matterport's doing this one thing or other, so we're not going to let them on our platform anymore, which is like huge, like a huge deal. So you can't actually post a Matterport tour directly to Zillow anymore, but there's workarounds for that stuff. I have no idea. I can't remember why I brought that up in the first place, but anyway.
No,
Yeah,
you
Matterport.
asked. if we have it here.
Yeah, Matterport's a cool tool. That was like clutch during COVID too, because that was something that when you couldn't look at a property, having a virtual tour where you can actually that the potential buyer could sit down and click around and view the house at their own leisure was maybe even more valuable than videos at that point. You know what I mean?
Any epic fails, epic stories of fails? You forgot your memory card, and ever since then you carry 20, or or anything.
I mean, you name it, I've pretty much done it. Memory card. I don't know if I've ever forgotten a memory card. I forgot batteries before. I didn't have any batteries for my camera, so I couldn't shoot. So I had. Luckily, that shoot was like 10 minutes from my house, so I was able to run back. But like, the agent was looking at me like had the worst side eye that you can imagine. You know what I mean? And then I did a video shoot one time where I honestly was completely clueless. I was using a Panasonic GH5 at the time, and the autofocus. I don't really use autofocus, but the autofocus was so trashed on that camera anyway, so it was pointless. But I shot an entire video for a property, a smaller house. Every shot was out of focus. Completely out of focus. So like it was complete. Every clip was trash. So I had to go back and reshoot that. Those are probably the two maybe biggest offenders, other than like maybe crashing my drone. I guess from a monetary standpoint, crashing my drone is probably the number one thing.
Extra shameful because it wasn't FPV.
Yeah. I did a shoot one time for a client who's actually probably one of my best clients still. And it was our first shoot with him doing like a agent on camera, where he was going on camera and the whole bit. I think it was his first time doing it too, like ever. And so we were down by the beach, and we got his shots with me holding the camera, and him talking. And then we wanted to get a shot of him driving. He had a red Mustang, and he wanted to drive the car away. And we wanted to show him driving like toward the house. And I had my drone. I literally it was a Mavic 2 Pro at the time. I had that drone for like a week, and I had my drone up in the air, like maybe about 10 feet high, and he starts to drive away, and I was going to rise the drone up as he's driving away. And it was working. I was rising up, and I rose right into the palm fronds of a palm tree.
Nice.
That was like 30 feet up. And so he stopped, and he looked. I mean, the thing was like spinning and going out of control for like a good 45 seconds. And I'm like just watching it. I'm like, it's going to fall and it's going to crash, and I'm done. I'm cooked.
And it caught itself?
But it like after like 15 or 20 seconds, it just like shot out, and it was just hovering right there. I'm like, oh shoot, man. It's like, I'm golden. I kind of look like an idiot, like to that guy, but like he was cool about it. It happens.
You turn it into an effect.
Yeah. Those clips are always fun to post on social media, like, because you can see like the nice smooth shot, and then it turns into like this like earthquake.
I want to get a real estate shot where you're flying through the thing, and then you go out the window and dive into the city.
Oh, that'd be killer, man. You got to have the right house for that, for sure.
Yeah, you just need a nice balcony. You fly out,
for sure.
It'll be sick one day.
Hell okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You have any questions for me or anything?
Yeah. So what do you like in terms of your FPV business? How does it work? Do you actually get people that place orders with you with certain specs, and then you build that for them, or how does that work?
So basically, right from the beginning, I was obsessed with having a performance vehicle, right? Like back in the day, there were cars, and then someone decided, let's make cars that are faster. Let's make cars that are more aerodynamic. And when I started with FPV, I knew that I needed to do sub 250 because of being in Toronto. So I did all the research, and I watched all the videos, and like that's how I found you, right? I'm a serial like researcher of things, and I think that nothing really shows you as good as kind of like flight footage, as I can see the way a drone flies and I can tell what's going on. So I got the 3 drones that I thought would be cool, and I started flying them, and I realized that we have these Chinese manufacturers that are not getting involved with pilots. So they're not,
Mm.
what they should do is be like, okay, like what the Ferrari and Michael Schumacher, like we have this relationship. We have an excellent race car driver and we have a car company, and they're going to make the car for him and they're going to design that way. But when it comes to the FPV companies, it's like, okay, we have our electronics and we're just going to stick them on some carbon and send them to the customer. And as long as we sell a lot of them, who cares? Like, who cares about the balance? Like, because it makes sense, right? If it's smaller, it's lighter. And just, I really kind of, I guess, because of same thing, with photography, overexposed and underexposed. You can tell the difference, and you can tell when someone's really played with the shadows and when they boost the saturation a bit. And I really like the look of a photo that almost looks fake, like where it's pushed to that point where it's kind of hyper realistic, but then
Mm-hmm.
kind of dialed back enough that you could think it's real. Like,
Right.
I really like that kind of, like, it's pushed to the edge, but it might be real. Whereas, that
Mm-hmm.
AI look where it's all just fake. I like where it's
Right.
like almost there, where you see something and it catches you. So in that same way, it was just these drones that I'm flying, like popular drones that people are buying. And then we have this problem where other creators that are big creators, the companies give them everything and then they make content
Mm-hmm.
and then they talk about how great it is. Just like with a camera, every year there's a new camera. I want a bloody FX3. But I got into it when the M50 was popular, and this is an M6 Mark II. And the M6 Mark II, it has uncropped 4K footage. So that's good enough. Like, is it as nice as your Sony AS7 III, whatever? Like, no. And I love that camera too. That camera and the FX, those two cameras I'd love to have. But it's not really the camera that limits the person most of the time. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
time it's the ability.
Right.
If you understand how to, and now lots of the time it's an art that's lost. Like, people don't have to learn how to use shutter and aperture, and like, how you use your aperture to make that background blurry and get your ISO and like to get all those settings. It's like, that's an art in itself that lots of people
Mm-hmm.
don't need anymore, because they can, like, lots of the time I don't take my camera, I take my phone and I make videos with my phone, because it's
Right.
like all I have to do is go like this. This is my favorite thing with a phone. You just go 1, 2, and now there we
Mm-hmm.
are, right? And this is my
Yeah.
this is my gimbal, like,
Yeah.
right? Like, I just
Yeah.
click, and I can shoot anything. I can get it right away without pulling out the camera, connecting the
Yes.
mic,
Yeah. Yeah.
making sure all the settings are right. Like, the world that we live in is so crazy that way. But when it comes to drones, yeah, these companies are putting electronics on frames and selling them. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a few, like when you see the top pilots, they have their perfect setup, and that's because they found what they like and they did it. But what about like everyone else? What about like people that want to be able to actually have a great flight experience? It takes a long time to figure out what motors and what is okay. So if I make the arm this thick, it'll crack, but if I make it this thick, it won't. But if I make it this thick, now it's too heavy. Now I'm going to lose
Mm-hmm.
performance. So kind of, I obsessed for myself, like, what is the thinnest or thickest, like, because there's weight to strength ratios, and then there's center of gravity, and then how close can I bring the motors, because as the arms get longer, the arms are going to be more susceptible to vibrations and they're going to be easier to break. So if I bring them as close to the body as possible without it hitting the drone, now I can have stronger arms with less vibrations. And like all these design kind of ideas would be in my head that would bother me, because I'm like, I know this is a thing and people don't
Mm-hmm.
really care about it. How can I fix this? And no one's going to do it for me, like anything. So
Right.
yeah, like, you wanted to learn real estate. like you didn't have a buddy in real estate that walked you through it and helped you do it. You went to YouTube and you learned. So I
Mhm.
went to YouTube and I learned AutoCAD. I learned how to do the 3D designing so that I could
Mhm.
design the things inside my head. And then I spent like 2 years making the perfect drone for me. And it's very specific because it's like, it's for you, right? That doesn't mean it's the best
Mhm.
drone, but it's the best drone for me. So I've made, like, in the sub 250 category, I've made like the strongest weight to strength ratio drone on the market. And but I'm just one person. So then more and more people fly it, and then it grows, and then more people want it, and then making content about it, and then selling it. So I did everything myself, like bit by bit, part by part, and then learning how to do all that. But I had that kind of business mind because of being a hairdresser, because of being a
Mhm.
reptile breeder. But with the reptile breeding, my biggest limitation was I can't get these snakes out of the country. So if I want to sell you a snake, there are something called CITES, like the legal papers, and they're
Mhm.
like around like $200-300 for a gecko. They're around $600 for the snakes. So it's like it becomes such a nightmare, and you're stuck in this one place. But then with the
What is that? Like a
drones,
license or something?
it's a permit. It's like licensing. It's
A
very
permit. Okay.
much. It's
Yeah.
like if you just think about taking a dog, you go on a vacation, you want to take a dog with you. It's just a big nightmare. Or if you
Right.
went somewhere and you want to adopt a dog, it's another big nightmare. You got to get the parasite shots. You got to get all these things up to date. You got to like there's all those extra legal things that make it a nightmare. But what I discovered actually throughout this whole thing that I like to encourage people to even think about is if you're selling any product that isn't like food or an animal, you have the world as your market. So you could use YouTube to advertise, and like I can sell my drones all over the world, which is super cool because it's like I got buddies in Germany and I see him in Germany like flying my drone, and it's pretty exciting. But then at the same time, it's difficult because, like I told you, as a hairdresser, I go to the hair salon and I charge $80 a haircut, and I get a $20 tip, and it's like, thank you, I just made $100 in an hour. But then with the
Mhm.
drones, the moment someone makes an order, my drones are really custom. So there's different cameras, there's different motors, and depending on what camera you have or what angle you like to fly at, because the camera does different angles. So you could put
Mhm.
the camera in with a couple screws and adjust it. But I didn't like that because then there's those two extra screws. So I made like a mold that I can put the camera in at whatever angle I want, but then I need a different mold for each angle. So anyone that
Mhm.
orders the drone off me, I got to figure out what angle they fly out, what camera they're using, so that makes things more difficult for me. And then
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
I learned 3D printing so that I could 3D print all these parts. And then so everything's so custom that it's almost a bad thing, because it's like we had this problem with the Asian market where they make these just plain boring drones, and then now I've overcomplicated by making them kind of like really awesome. But then for me
Mhm.
to get all the details off someone and then I got to go to the post office and ship it. I got to make a label with all their information on it. And the frame, so what I sell the most, it's a frame that's around 50-60 bucks.
Okay.
But then I also have all the parts. So for like a few $100, I can take all the parts, stick it in a bag, and then they can build their own. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, or I can build it for them and I charge $100 to build it. So the more things they get, and the more and then I've got the add-ons, so they can get propellers. So, oh, you need some more propellers? I'll toss some of those. What about battery straps? What about antennas? So all the different parts that they need, I now can supply. And the more they get, the more money I can kind of make off of it. But it is very like tedious for me. Like I don't know. I'm just to
Right.
like, okay, I got to get your information. I got to print it on a label. I got to put it in a bag. I got to go to the post office. It's a lot easier for me to just go and do a haircut.
How much does a, like, would you say an average cost of one of your builds is for someone who would
Um,
want to purchase?
the thing is that there's different systems, right? So depending on what system you get, that's the biggest thing because there's a video system. But usually around somewhere between like $300 and $500.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's not crazy expensive. But
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
FPV, you have to figure out which system you're going to use, like whether you're going to use DJI, and then you got to get your radio. So you got to get your nice goggles and you want to get your nice
Mm,
radio, and then those things, it's a one-time purchase. And then after
right.
that, yeah, like once you get, because like for instance with DJI, just the video system is like close to $400, just the video system.
Mhm.
And then so for just like the drone and the parts other than the video system, like I don't even know. Like it's around like $200-300 just for the parts. And then
Mhm.
you can add your own video system, or you could buy that video system, you ship it to me, and then I put it all together for you. But I made a
Mm.
drone that is pretty tough and performance and like protection around, like, so for instance, even like I'm designing like a bigger one. So I prototyped the arm. So this is one of the arms. And then
Mhm.
I designed I designed these like boots that go on the arm. So they're wider than the
Mm.
stator of the motor. So
Right. Right.
when
Right.
you hit the wall or something, instead of hitting the motor, you hit the boot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Interesting. Interesting.
stuff like that, right? So I don't even know. Went off on a tangent. What was your question in the first
Well,
place?
how much that, would, like, if I wanted to
Oh,
buy one, what would
yeah,
it
yeah.
cost,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and with that, we have to figure out what I'm almost sure you'd want DJI, like you'd want, but now America, I don't know if you've seen like the drone laws and what's been going on
Yeah.
with that. So it might be tricky for you to even get
Right.
certain parts, right? Or
Right.
even if like I got them and shipped them to you, it's like who knows what could happen as it's crossing the border and that kind of stuff. So it's like,
Yeah. 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 So right now, basically, the I guess the status is that anything that's already manufactured, is okay to be purchased. But any new thing that's manufactured is not. We can't purchase those anymore through DJI.
yeah, and that whole thing looked like it's going to be a real like nightmare for the FPV stuff too, because they packaged some things in there. So I don't know what's going to end up happening later, where maybe I'll be shipping something to someone and it won't go through or something. Like hopefully not.
Mhm.
But I've also been hit with an extra tax. So anytime I send something to the states, there's like an extra tax on it that I have to charge too, which is like annoying.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing's weird, man. Like, I don't know what to think of the whole ban. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like the whole TikTok thing that was banned too, but then it wasn't. It kind of went back and forth. Um, I'm hoping that like at some point they'll. I guess it was basically the government trying to, see if I don't even know what it was, to be honest with you. It was like the government had to like go through their systems and checks to make sure that everything was on, on the level with whatever the builds were. You know what I mean?
Well,
And they just didn't do it.
there's more too with there's people in the government that have made like kind of like stocked up on American companies.
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
there's
yes,
that
yes,
happening too, where it's like, okay,
yes.
we're stocked up on these American companies. We stopped China from bringing it in, and now those American
Right.
companies are going to be what gets it all, and then
Uh,
we're going to bank on
they're
that.
gonna reap the benefits of all the purchases going forward. Yeah, I we'll see. We'll see. I Everybody that I've talked to, or who's posted on different forums like Facebook. I'm a part of a couple of different Facebook groups, and anytime that subject comes up, I know what you're talking about. Everybody's like, "There's no way I'm going to buy any drone from any other U.S. manufacturer." I mean, you'd think you'd want to buy from a U.S. manufacturer just to support people in your country, but it's sort of a different story with this.
Well, you
know what I
took
mean?
this from me, right? Like, so it is kind of like you tried to screw me. Now I'm not gonna.
Right.
So it does make it almost worse for them, and that's what's hard with just like people. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. You remember back in the day when your dad was around or whatever, and when people went on strikes a lot more. You know, like people they don't seem to do it as much, or they go on strike and the company already has planned, like, okay, so we're gonna try and really screw them, and if we can't really screw them when they go on strike, we're gonna give them this other plan that's also bad but not as bad, and they're gonna take it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
I guess the drone community is not strong enough to support that kind of pushback that's going to actually
or to
make a
fight.
difference.
Like no one wants, like, everyone wants to talk about it. It's easy to talk about it, but can they all get together with their pitchforks and make something happen? Right?
Yeah, and apparently not, because nothing did happen.
No.
I saw a few people talking about, I'm going to write my congressman, I'm going to write my senator, and stuff like that, but
no one cares.
nothing.
Nobody
nothing
cares. It's like everyone has to say, look, we're not going to touch those drones, right? Like, like you're done.
Hopefully, I mean, I do truly hope that actually ends up being the case, where those companies don't see any benefit from taking down DJI in the States. And then, at some point they'll have to come up with some sort of alternative for people, and maybe DJI will be able to come back. Because everybody loves DJI. They make great drones, especially for the kind of work that I do, and a lot of other things too. I don't know what they're going to do with, like, people that do farming, the pesticide drops and stuff like that. They use DJI drones too. Yep. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with that.
All the shell companies too, though, right? Because DJI can, like, all the shell companies.
Yeah, right.
All the people
right.
Finding ways, right? There's lots of ways. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that was a wonderful time. I'm really glad to get to know you, to meet you, and thanks also for
likewise
reaching out after too, because you got on it with the WhatsApp. You're like, yeah, let's go. So yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you. Wonderful guy. I'm gonna link Wyman's channel. And we're friends now. And you ever want to come to Canada with your daughters, see some snakes, learn how to fly FPV, you're welcome. And if I ever go to California, I'll come bother you too.
Come hit me up for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right. Thanks, Matt.
Have a good one.
Good chat, brother.
See
you. All right, you too. Bye.
Very, very nice. Very nice guy. Okay.